I have a question.
Yeah.
Actually, I would just like you to help me
All right.
get into the head of a man who cheats.
A man who cheats. On
What?
you?
What does it mean? Well, he's cheating on his wife with me.
He's cheating on his wife with you.
Right.
All right. What is it you want to know? Usually when women call and ask this question, it's because they're being cheated on.
Right.
Well, what's the story? Tell me.
Well, it snuck up on me. It's a workplace. There was chemistry. I liked him, but he was definitely the aggressor and the pursuer, and seduced me.
Well, dear, you have to take responsibility. Do not blame. Wait, let's start right here. Okay. On this show, we take responsibility for our own actions.
I do. I am. I just have never done this. I've never done a married man.
You have now.
I have now, and I am looking at myself and thinking, wow, I am one of them. I'm one of those people that I never thought I would be.
All right, so now that you are, what is your question?
So he has a bad marriage. I mean, that's how it starts.
That's what he told you.
Huh?
That's what he told you.
Right. Yeah. So now it's evolving into they're recommitted, but
they're recommitted.
But he wants to keep me.
Of course.
Really? Why?
Dear, if you're going to bang a married man, why would you expect anything but sex?
Because that's not what it started out
No.
I didn't think.
It was for him.
Always, right from the start, wasn't it?
It was always about sex for him. Always. He's married. Wake up!
For the third time he's married, and he's cheated on all of them. And he decided that...
Well, dear, but you see, you already know all the facts here. Think about it. You already know all the facts. Right?
Yeah. I just wanted... I guess I wanted to know more. Maybe I just...
What is there to know? He's not in love with you. He was never in love with you. He's married. He's finding ways to string you along, saying they broke up, marriage is bad, blah. Then once he thinks he has you in his back pocket, he says, well, we're recommitted to each other, blah. Then he says, but you know what? I still want to see you, blah. And you are suckered into believing he loves you.
I'm the biggest sucker in the world.
Of course you are.
Okay.
Now, dear, this is your payment for having sex with a married guy. Because women can never leave emotions out of it, with few exceptions.
Exactly, and I told him that.
But what does he care? You have to regulate you.
Exactly.
You can't expect the man who needs to get laid to do what's right for you. He's doing what's right for him.
And I told him that. I have to do what's right for me. I told him that.
But the thing is, stop telling and start doing.
Okay.
You see? Yeah, the thing is, I don't care what he wants or what he says. You know what? I've been him. You know that?
That's why I'm calling you, because
right.
I knew you could tell me what this is, really.
Yeah, well, I've been him.
And I'm being stupid.
All right, let me tell you something. He is doing whatever he has to do to get what he needs.
Why does he need it? Why?
Who knows?
He's married. Why does he need it?
What, you assume because someone's married that they're sexually satisfied?
Yeah.
Huh. What, have you ever been married, dear?
Yeah.
Yeah, was your husband, were you sexually satisfied?
I was when I was married.
How about your husband?
What?
How about your husband?
Well, we did it a lot.
In the last 6 months, the last year, the last 5 years?
It was the last thing to go.
But it went.
But it was an abusive marriage. I mean, it went after the divorce. It ended after it was a bad marriage. It was 15 years ago. I've never remarried. I mean, I'm traumatized.
Yeah. Now, keep in mind, dear, you have an issue.
I probably do.
Your issue, I mean, why do you fall in love with an abusive guy? And then you follow it up with falling in love with a married man. There's a pattern here. Do you see your pattern? Forget him. Let's talk you.
But it's a 15-year gap.
But, dear, you must have dated in that time.
A little, but I was really devoted to my children more.
And the men you dated, they all treated you like gold, or they also found ways to use and abuse you?
No, honestly, Tom, I went 10 years.
With no sex?
Committed to not having sex, and I didn't have sex.
All right, and then what about the other 5 years?
I was a single mom, and in the last 5 years, since I started being, more devoted to my career, my children are on their feet. Yeah, it's few and far between, but it's been there. And opportunities to get married have been there too, and I'm terrified of it. Terrified.
You're terrified of it?
Yeah, I'm terrified of it.
Uh-huh.
And I don't get married. And now I ask myself, what's the payoff? Why am I in this situation? And the payoff is that the sex is really, really good, and I don't have to commit. And at the same time, I'm really hurt that there is no commitment. So I'm really twisted, aren't I?
Well, yes. And you have problems. And you see, the problem with people like you, and I know because I've had sex with people like you, the problem with people like you...
It was probably really good, though, wasn't it?
Well, yes. Because I think anybody who's loopy or a loon is going to be spectacular in the sack. That's been my experience.
I'm totally motherly, though. I mean, I did go 10 years.
All right. But then when you got back into the game, you got back into it with another...
Yeah, right back into...
guy who's using you. Okay? And that thing is, look, if you like sex that much, then just accept it as sex. But you can't. You see, you can't do it.
I can't.
And then you are under this delusion that he's going to leave his wife for you. He's not going to leave his wife for you.
And you know what? I told him not to. He was going to.
Why do you even talk to him about it? You know what? Stop talking to him. He's going to say whatever it takes to close the deal.
I wouldn't let him leave her, though. I mean, he convinced me he was going to, and I kept telling him, you can't leave her for me.
Why do you even have a conversation like this?
Why did I?
Why do you talk to him about this stuff? Why do you even bother?
Because I thought the relationship was real, and he was going to leave her. And
what made you think that?
Because he told me that.
And that's enough?
And I felt like he didn't leave her because I insisted that leaving her for me would never work. Because I couldn't.
And you were just giving it, and you were giving him an out. That's what you were doing. You were giving him an out.
An out?
An out. Telling him he'd never leave. You were giving him an out.
I gave him an out. How? Tell me.
By telling him he would never leave. So essentially you were saying you would accept continuing the way it was because you knew he would never leave.
That's what he took from that, is that it would continue. And
that's what it was. You see, what you could have said would be, I'm not going to have sex with you again until I see your divorce papers.
Exactly.
But you didn't. Instead, you sent the message that if everything stays status quo, it's okay with you. Right?
And then he stayed married because he was afraid I wouldn't be there.
No, he stayed married because he's staying married. That's the game plan. It's too expensive to get divorced. Of course it was. You don't even know for sure whether they had problems or they were recommitted. What kind of a recommitment is when the guy says, we're recommitted, and by the way, I still want to see you?
Why? That's the part I don't get.
Because it worked. You gave what he wanted. You spread your legs. You said, let's keep this going.
Why is she not enough? Why is one woman not enough?
Stop wondering about that, dear, because the problem is not him or her, it's you. You are the problem. You need to make rules for you.
Oh, I did for a long time.
Rules are rules.
I broke them.
You broke your own rules for you. This is not his fault. It's your fault. You can't control what other people do. You can control what you do. And you didn't. And you're not.
I did last night.
Well, fine. Now you got to keep that going for the next 40 years. Can you do that?
Oh, I know. I know. I know. I know.
Hang on a second. Alicia.
Oh,
Alicia.
I don't want somebody to hammer me.
She's coming on right now. Alicia, hello.
Hey, Tom, how are you?
Good.
My God, I love you so much. You're the best. I wish people would just get their heads out of their butts and listen to you.
Right.
Oh, what's her name, Lene?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. She should listen to herself, the way she sounds. She's absolutely letting people run over her. She let her first husband run over her by beating the crap out of her. She stayed with him for 15 years? Is that what you say?
No, I stayed with him for 7 years. I've been divorced for 15 because I'm too traumatized to get married again.
Oh, my God, just listen to yourself. You sound so pathetic. Lene, listen, get your head out of your butt. Listen to what Tom is telling you. You allow people to treat you this way because you don't tell them anything else. You're telling this guy, oh, you know, I'm going to continue sleeping with you, and you're not going to leave your wife for me. I don't want you to do that. Is that what you said to him?
I did.
Why? What does that do for you? Absolutely nothing. It's not about her. It's not about him. It's
I don't
about
think I
you.
could trust him if he left her for me. I would feel like he could leave me for somebody else.
Then why in the hell would you ever be with a guy who would cheat on his wife in the first place?
I know. I know this. My head knows this.
Unbelievable.